onto the steering wheel and the airbags. So to move the centre part, the steering wheel, the horn push and the airbag, there are two on either side of the steering wheel. Torx, I think a T27, Torx bolts in there, one on either side. Undo those, they don't come completely out, just slacken off your film and go loose, and then this just pops out. Force forward, difficult to do one-handed. Just getting a small flathead behind this little yellow clip on the back, like so. It comes up and then it's loose. So it comes away from there. This earth wire, there's a connector there, but it just unclips from the spade connector on the back of the airbag as well. Centre nut, the steering wheel is 19mm, and actually I did nice and easily for me. Don't take it completely off. So I just took a few gentle taps with a rubber mallet on the back of the steering wheel, and away it comes. So now to get the clock spring behind the airbag off, clip at the top of the back here. The speedo lift that and it tilts forward, and on either side there's two clips here, just clip down on one side and release, and the whole unit comes down. Now the whole boss is off and the steering wheel, got all these connectors here. This is the connector that was there for the horn. Look through, disconnecting the airbag clip from the back of the last unit I took off, just leaving the single wire. That is the earth that leads to this connector here for the horn. So having connected the battery back up, touch that on there, that's basically how the horn circuit, the earth circuit, comes together. So the plan now is, with this removed, just take this connector and this connector, and I'm just going to cut those and join those wires there, which will give me the earth and then the spade connector, which will go back onto the horn button for the new steering wheel again. Airbag, there's an access flap here, flat blade screwdriver, just in behind prizes, flat down. This is connected, there's a little clip that goes into a hole, just a wire clip in the plastic, which can be released, and you can see this, but just in case you want to just reach up without unclipping that, the way to release it is this white section slides backwards, it's sprung, comes backwards, and then the two elements come apart, and then that gets the wiring away from the airbag. I'm starting to get towards removing the dash pads, the upper and the lower. The radio unit needs to come out. It's not too difficult. The fan control knob here needs to come off. It's quite tightly in. Just need to get something underneath it and ease it off gently. And then behind it there's a screw in there. Phillips head screw just needs to come out. That releases the bottom of the radio surround, and the whole thing is just held on apart from that with clips. So just loosen it from the bottom and then work from the top downwards and just release it from the clips around the edge. It comes out fairly easy, and then you've got the clips at the back and the aerial clip, and the whole thing comes away, and then that opens up to start removing the dash pads. The two speaker grill panels just lift up and come away, and there are two bolts to remove the speakers, and also that starts to release the top panel. There's a 12mm bolt just underneath there, which is the mounting bolt for the airbag. So that's the 4 bolts around the speakers, 2 screws top here, and the radio taken out, and that's pretty much it. And then the front of the pad lifts straight up, and then it should, in theory, just come out cleanly. And right in the corner behind the speakers, there's one of these nuts either side. It's again 10mm, just needs to come off in the corner there. Dashpad lifts up at the edge nearest me, and then just lifts up and forward towards to get off those two studs at the back, and away it comes. The lower dash panel. This one right hidden behind the door trims on both sides, a bolt 10mm. Got this plastic clip here which needs to come out, which is just a trim tool to remove it. Then got a 10mm in there. Got 10mm at the bottom here. Got 10mm at the bottom here. One in the centre, back in there. That's another 10mm. One up there, and again the same with the clip on the end, and the one behind the weather strip on the door. As you look at it, it's quite tight in there. There's cable attachments for the cables, 3 of them, one on the left there, corresponding one on the right inside there, and one at the bottom. I'll get the camera on. There. This one at the bottom shows you best what you've got. So the loops at the end of the cables are over the top of these connectors, and you can see there's a little push prong there which holds the cable in and stops it coming out. And can't really force that break it. Tried lots of ways, so ultimately what I did was got a flathead screwdriver underneath the bottom of the cable, used a very small flathead screwdriver to push in there, then lever as I'm pushing and get it over the top. While I'm breaking a little bit, which is this one here, hoping that will still hold when it goes back in. I might have to do something to make sure it does, but very time consuming to do. Wish I'd figured it out beforehand, but just go surprising in that little piece there, and prising the loop over, and then making it over where the cables run. So if it helps the cabling, so connectors come to the right hand side here. There's 2 of them. They route underneath through the middle here and up. These 2 wiring connectors come from the left hand side and just float on top in this void area here. This is an additional piece that's wired into a fuse connector. And then the white cable, they're colour coded. The white cable goes to the bottom, adjusts to the bottom connector. The blue cable, and that runs, sorry, the white one runs just straight underneath and through into the little gap. The blue one, which sits around the corner in there, that runs straight down into the left hand side. So that one just tucks itself up, is there, and the black one comes up to skip on the right hand side. So the 2 wide cables, 2 on the left and the right, and there's 2 gaps on either side. And the white one goes behind that plate there and into the middle. That's the order they connect, or the location. So with the dash, most of the top panels are undone now. Difficult bit is getting detaching it from the wiring main connectors here into towards the ECU and detach, and that gets it loose. So just to clarify now, I've got the whole thing removed. Taking the plugs out here means that there's only actually one bolt which is that one in that big hole there, which feeds into this section here, which needs to come out, and then that releases the dash from the bottom bit. It means you don't have to take that whole unit out. It just means releasing all the switches. So just one bolt on this side at the bottom, hidden, but very difficult to get to and under. The headlight level adjustment is easy, just a fairly conventional clip in behind, which is here. Blue clip for that. This airbag on-off switch has been incredibly difficult. It's a completely different type of connector. There are two sort of brown orange tabs that you can see in behind it for the connector, which are there. Pushing and pulling of those wouldn't come loose, didn't want to force it because obviously it needs to go back together. So I end up bringing the connector through, which is just these two, compressing these two large tabs here, which then free it from the dash, bring it through and freeing up the wiring of it. And what you'll see hopefully there is in here there's a tab to release, so it's nothing to do with the two ears sticking out. It's that connector there at the bottom on the switch, which levers to come down. So I'm now taking time to take these two tabs off on the end. These are where the little plastic trim clips fitted. Apparently they need to come off according to the build instructions for the roll cage to fit. Sound deadening's now all removed in the car from behind the dash and the side panels. I'd like to say that it's easy or that there's a knack to it, but I've found unless you're going to remove the whole crossbar and whole heater, blower and centre motors, it's just a case of a sharp Stanley blade and patience and cutting through bit by bit. Some key things for me, this nut here, there's another one on the passenger side on the left, in there. There's that one there because the carpet goes in behind that plastic tab. The carpet itself actually rips quite easily once you get going, but it's reinforced at the edges so it won't rip through those. So where it was quite a tight hole around there, it was difficult. So it is just a case of working your way around with the Stanley knife, being careful not to chop any wiring, and eventually it comes out. I cut away the left side section here and the footwell and the side section on the right hand side, the bulkhead rather on the right hand side. So it left just the centre piece, and then I've trimmed this back here, cut around and under this hole, and then I was able to drag the whole central piece down once I negotiate that right hand bolt I just spoke about. It's not easy, but it does come down. There's nothing else that goes through the centre of the carpet or the sound deadening between this top section and between those two side bolts. The whole bit behind this centre unit is pretty clear. It's just those mounting bolts on the right and left hand side. Slackening those off doesn't pull this forward, it just means you can get a little bit of pressure off that carpet to get it to come out.